Welcome back to another episode of the Yaktown Don't Back Down podcast. I'm your host, Sean Preston. Today, we got the man, the myth, the unspoken legend in the building, man.
Oh, man.
Mr. Aaron Barnett.
What up, Sean? What's
Exercising Demons.
Yep.
Super producer.
In a past life, but for sure.
How you feeling today, man?
Hey, man, I'm great, man. I'm grateful. I'm thankful to be here. I'm feeling good. And I'm excited to talk to you. So thank you for having me, bro.
Man, thanks for taking your time out to be here today. Thank you for choosing the store to host your pop-up shop. But we gonna dig right into this interview. So, I always start off with the Pontiac origin story, guys. So, are you originally from Pontiac?
Yes, born and raised in Pontiac. My dad was from Pontiac. I was born at St. Joe's. My dad was born at St. Joe's. So yeah, I'm as Pontiac as it comes, for real.
Okay, I was born. What is that? Pontiac General Hospital, and I don't know where my mom, where my dad. I know where they from, but I don't know what hospitals they was born in. So, what neighborhood did you grow up in?
So I grew up on the north side.
Okay.
I grew up in Walton Park Manor.
Okay.
You know
I lived over there for a few years.
For sure. Was in Walton Park Manor from like 4 years old to like I graduated high school. So I was there. We was there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so from the north side.
Okay. So what was that area like when you were growing up? Like, what was it like?
So Walton Park Manor, if you know the area, it's a bunch of like apartment complexes over there. And it just felt like when we were kids, it was so many kids, bro. Like it was just so many people around my age and like maybe a little older, a little younger, but just so many kids, so many youth, just running around, just having fun, just like enjoying the community. You know what I'm saying? And everybody always say like back then we played outside because you know what I'm saying? We really played outside.
We definitely did.
We played every sport. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad was a coach, so everybody knew my pops in the neighborhood. And you know what I'm saying? We had a lot of positive male figures in the neighborhood, but my dad was one of them ones that was just like, whoever, you know what I'm saying? He got love for whoever. Come over if you need to, whatever you need, let him know. So yeah, it was the hood, you know what I'm saying? We from the hood, we know that.
Yeah.
But man, it was no lack of love. It was no lack of like support.
Right.
Like everybody leaned on each other. You had your people that was a little further out there than others, but everybody wanted to see everybody do well.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a great upbringing for real.
One of the best things I heard you say is like your pops was almost like the community's dad, or one of them, I should say. That's how my pops was in a sense. Like everybody know that I eat a lot of White Castle. I blame that on my dad because growing up, he would buy White Castle, and then when he would buy it, he wouldn't just feed me. He'd feed the kids in the neighborhood. And then another thing, you mentioned all the apartments that's in that area. Like I remember back in the day, North Hill Farms was not the North Hill Farms that it is now. So yeah, my mom, she actually lives over there now. Shout out to her. But yeah, man, growing up in Pontiac as a kid, we was definitely outside. We played all the sports. We didn't want to come in the house like most of the kids now. Most of the kids these days, they in the crib chilling. But it was definitely a time to be alive. So, what high school did you attend? I already know the answer to this question, but for y'all who don't know, y'all about to hear it.
So for the people, cause Sean was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I went to Pontiac Central, graduated class of 2007. So I was a year ahead of Sean.
Yes,
but
sir.
Yeah, man, Central was crazy at that time for sure. And we wanted the last few classes to come out of Pontiac Central.
You remember the school? I don't mean to cut you off. You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
The school store.
Yeah.
Man.
I jug so crazy about it there.
Shout out to Miss Livingston. I love you if you see this, but
she kept me alive.
Yes,
for real, bro.
Yes. If it had not been for just having a school store and having a teacher like Miss Livingston, I probably wouldn't have got some of the credits that I got to get me out of high school. So I'm very appreciative of that. Shout out to everybody that went to Pontiac Central, for sure.
Big Chiefs, you already know.
Yeah, so Ace Boogie, the producer. A lot of people don't know that you produced one of the biggest Pontiac records. It was called. I don't even know the name. He was just talking, but I know the hook. I don't know your situation, but we good over here. Tell us what led up to you making that record. Like, what's that origin story? Like, how did that come about?
So, I always been a creative person. Like, I've always enjoyed making things, whether it be like drawing or like producing, like making music, or you know what I'm saying, whatever, like cooking, anything I can make with my hands, I enjoy. So, like shortly after I graduated, you know, I was just on like YouTube, just like early YouTube, just like going through the internet, and I seen like videos of people producing music, making beats, and I'm just like,
nice.
I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. So downloaded Fruity Loops because that's what everybody was doing at the time.
Was it Busy Works Beats? Was you watching Busy Works Beats?
No, but no, I know what you're talking about. But it was like, but I was just watching like videos of like Just Blaze, like Neptunes, Kanye, just, you know what I'm saying, people that we knew. And I was doing that, and it's just like, all right, I think I can do this. So I just started making beats that was real trash. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime you first start something, it's gonna be real trash.
And most people, including myself, they don't understand. Like, I tell my kids this all the time too. When you first start something, it's not gonna be the best. It's gonna be garbage. I say this to you all the time. It's gonna be terrible. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And I think that was one of the advantages of social media not being as prevalent, because now every time somebody makes something, every time somebody start a new venture, whether it's a hobby or something they pursuing to try to make money from, they want to just post everything they do. Yeah. But it's like sometimes you have to go through that process of learning and figuring out what's going to be your style, figuring out your own like story and all of that. So I value the fact that I didn't have like an outlet just ready for me to post everything that I was making. Because it was real whack and that would have been embarrassing. So fast forward, I was making beats for maybe a year. Like, it was still early in the process, but I had this one song, like this one beat, and my older brother Alton,
shout out to Alton.
Hey man, big shout out. He was like my one of my biggest supporters early on. Like, he believed in me before I even believed in myself. For real.
That's what's up.
So I would make the beats. I would put them on a CD, and he would listen to them. Like, he had like 12s in his like minivan, like going crazy, you know what I'm saying? And he would just ride around listening to him. And just one day, like by chance, Mr. Weechie, so Cutter, like right hand man, he heard him listening to these beats, and he like, who made these beats? He like, oh, my brother made these beats. Wow. Bro, when I tell you, it's like,
yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a crazy story. So yeah, he like, my brother made these beats. He's like, let me get that CD. We about to go to the studio, whatever. So my brother told me that, but I'm like, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? Tell me anything, whatever. So I get a call like a couple weeks later, and it was Cutter. He like, yo, I want this beat. How much you need for it? And I wasn't selling beats at the time. I didn't even know what the going rate was. So I'm just like,
25.
Hey, I just said, hey, 50, bro. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? I said 50. You bet. And he like, all right, bet. I'm gonna hit you up, but we about to record it, and I'll hit you up. So he recorded the record. Everybody jumped on it. And 2008, like before we got on here, 2008 in Pontiac was a time, bro. The summer of 08 was crazy. So I didn't think much of it. Like, I knew Cutter was like bubbling. Like, when we was in school, like Cutter was everywhere. And like it hadn't really registered to me like that people was gonna really be listening to this. But like, we would be outside, like, cause we in Walton Park Manor, we would just sit outside and just, if we wasn't hooping or if we wasn't playing football or whatever, we were just sitting outside kind of chilling, and people would drive by and you would just hear that bass line all the time, and I'm like, there it go again, there it go again, there it go again. And it was crazy. Like, I had never experienced anything like that, and I would tell people like, yeah, I made that beat, and they'd be like, stop lying, like, why you lying,
bro? To that point, like, I kid you not, like, and there's no disrespect to you, when somebody said Aaron Barnett made that beat, I'm like dog made that beat. Didn't even know you was making beats.
It's crazy. And I've also like never really been like big on like patting myself on the back or putting myself out there like that, because I'm just creative. I just like making stuff, you know what I'm saying? It ain't necessarily like always about like telling everybody I'm making stuff. So that's kind of why I went the production route, because it's like, I don't want to be a rapper. I don't want to be in the front. I'd rather be in the background doing my thing. So so it was just like, this was like a moment in time, and like,
Stamped.
man, for real, because it was a point where like you couldn't go outside and not hear that song for real.
And they used to play that at Tiki's.
Bro, I never went to the club, but I was always there. That's what I used to tell people. Like,
Wow.
I never go to the club, but I'm always in there.
When they either played that record or that boy, would y'all stop thinking that I ain't gonna shoot, bro? Like, I've seen so many fights off so many different songs. But yeah, like, man, kudos to you, bro. Like, you produced one, like, if not one of the biggest records. Like, that's up there. That's definitely top 3 Pontiac records of all time.
Thank you. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about because I don't think about that time like of my creative career much. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm always thinking.
And then
forward.
you young, like that's like a young genius. Like, you know, that's like a young goat. Like, you what? That's 08. Like, you a year removed from high school, bro, and you produced like, if not the biggest record in the city at that time, bro. Like, that's something that we should clap like on Drink Champs. Like, everybody clap.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So, did you do any other production after that?
Yeah. So, for a nice time after that, I worked with more local artists. I had Jabril Price. He was like real close to me. That was like one of my closest creative partners. Also, I'm only Mook.
Shout out to Jabril. Shout out to Mook.
For sure. Like we was in the basement every day. Like
I remember the 4 Stars wave.
Yeah.
I remember the run shirt. I remember all that.
Yeah.
All
we
that.
was definitely like out here trying to do things, and we made a little noise. You know what I'm saying? We was doing that. And we did local shows. We went out to the city. We went out in different parts of the region, like, and did shows and stuff like that. So it was a cool experience.
Fly
so, like,
Young Days.
Man, shout out KP. Like, it was crazy, bro. Like, we was really on some creative stuff, trying to just like be the best versions of ourselves for real. But also being from a small city, it's tough to like.
It's tough, and then I recognize this now, being 33, that we were really young, trying to immerse ourselves in a grown man's game without really having no real guidance. So I can't even be upset at myself anymore for the mistakes that I made back then, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I literally was out here winging it, like trying to find out, really just carving my own roadmap to success versus somebody saying, hey, like, this is a little blueprint that you can follow to get where you trying to go. I hope I ain't cut you off.
No, you didn't, but I'll piggyback on that. I think our naivety, like our youthfulness was like what pushed us though.
Yeah.
Because when you got somebody that's telling you like, no, don't do it like that,
right.
or like this, you should try it this way, you should try it this way. It kind of take away your excitement. When we was young, we didn't want to do nothing but record these songs, put them together in a project, and put them out there. You know what I'm saying?
It was fun. Like, it was no. How can I put it? Like, it wasn't. Excuse me. It wasn't like getting up to go to a job.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, y'all want to record? Y'all want to hit the stew? Let's do it.
Yeah. It was a game. It was like, and it was no expectation. So it was like, let me see how much points I could put up in this game real quick. Yeah. And we was just doing it. Like, we was just winging it. And I think that's like creativity at its purest form, right? It's just like doing something you enjoy for the sake of the enjoyment, and not like always
I gotta
like
meet this deadline.
Yeah, I gotta recoup the money I invested in it. It's like, no, like, we had a microphone, we had a computer, and we was just.
What was
like,
y'all recording on back then? What was like y'all first recording setup? Because I remember.
Oh, like, that thing was crazy. I was in the crib. I was at Pop's crib in the living room on just like I bought like a $60 microphone, recording into like Mixcraft or something crazy like that.
We had a computer microphone and some speakers that was not hooked up to no headphones, and we was recording on Audacity.
Yep.
So when we would record, the music would play out of the speakers. So we was layering the beat and the vocals on top of each other.
But you couldn't tell. But nobody couldn't tell you wasn't enjoying it. You wasn't having fun. You wasn't doing like monumental stuff. Like that was core memories for real.
Yeah. For sure.
That was that. But that's how we was raised in like hip hop and just like that culture was so big to us.
Yeah.
Like Wayne was a god to us, bro, and everybody wanted to be that.
Man,
Everybody was
what?
like, I'm just rapping over everything.
I could probably rap every Lil Wayne mixtape and album all the way up into like 2010.
Real talk. Like
Bar
word for word, word
like,
for word.
All he got to do is say one word,
Yes.
and I can rap
100%.
everything. Like Wayne, like really had the game on lock.
Yeah, for sure.
He did.
For sure. Especially around here. Like, it was crazy.
I know a lot of people might disagree, but I would say Wayne and Gucci, like culturally, especially here.
Yeah. Especially for our generation.
Yes.
It was out of here.
Yes. So diving into the brand, man, we changing gears.
Okay.
Exercising demons. Let me see. I just ask is like, what is the brand's origin story? Like, what series of events led up to you saying, I'm getting ready to start this brand?
All right, so I'm gonna try to keep it brief as possible, but I've always, like I've said, I've always been a creative person.
Yeah.
So I was designing merch. I was designing like cover art. I was designing like flyers. All of this stuff. Like I downloaded Photoshop before I started making beats for real. So I was always like working in a graphic space, doing that kind of stuff. And then I worked with KP with Fly Young, like helped design some pieces with him. And then kind of took a hiatus after that because it was just like, all right, it's time to be a grown up. It's time to really like buckle down and like establish myself outside of being creative. Because when you're young, creativity don't pay the bills. Like
I used to live by this
job.
slogan, passion over money. But boy,
in a capitalistic society, you can't pay your rent and you can't eat off passion.
Did I learn?
Yeah, so
it's on the
It's
shirt.
on the
back
shirt.
there. That was my first. That's my first shirt. Passion over money. But did I learn?
Yeah,
Did
so-
I learn?
so-
Valuable lesson.
So I had to buckle down and like figure out like, all right, am I gonna be a starving artist? Is this my story? Like, is this what I'm doing? Or am I gonna establish myself in the corporate setting and make enough money to start funding these ideas that I really have and really doing them the right way and not trying to finesse everything. So fast forward, I start running. This is like a big part of my story. So I was I was overweight. I used to, you know what I'm saying? We used to play sports a lot when we was younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that kept
He
us.
was a little chubby, but you could move though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember on the court,
Yeah.
like he could move. I remember we played one. Like for him to be a little heavy, he definitely moved like he a guard.
Yeah. So I needed something to reconnect myself with my wellness and like my competitiveness, right? So a lot of times we move away from high school, we move away from like what we were doing when we were younger, and we kind of get set into these ways that aren't so healthy or they ain't feeding us like we need them to. So I started running. Thanks to my brother too, like he got me out there for real, because he
Shout out
was
to Jared.
Yeah, big shout out to Jared. He was biking. He just liked being outside, and I'm just like, yeah, I can do that too. So started running, and then I got with Joe Robinson from the city, from Detroit, and he told me this idea that he was starting this run club, and I'm like, all right, I got to pull up because I don't see that happening often. Like people that look like us, like fellowshipping around something that's good for us. You know what I'm saying? It's always. I ain't gonna say it's always, but a lot of times it's like negative stuff that we want to click up for. So I got with the run club, and something told me like the first ever meetup, like take your camera and document this because this could be something special. So that first run we had like 500 people there.
Nice.
And it was like 500 of us running through Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Black people. So that was like a very monumental like wake up call for me. Like this is where you're supposed to be at. Like for real. So. I did that, and then that just kind of built. We started doing like weekly runs. We started building this run club thing out, and I just fell into like a creative role with them because, as we know, social media is so important in building brands and building like just visibility. So I started doing all the graphics. I started taking a lot of the photography, all of that, just to kind of like build out an idea of what this run club looks like online. Because I know what it looked like in person. It's beautiful. It's all of these black people. Like you can't see this and not feel some type of way.
Looking at that stuff, like they creative side, like you did all that.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So I'm designing all of the merch. I'm doing all the flyers. I'm doing everything pretty much from a creative side, and that led to me having an opportunity to work for Asics as well. So I was doing
shout out to Asics.
Big shout out to Asics. I've done like graphic tees for the running division, just like stuff that I never thought I would do. You know what I'm saying? Working with a company as big as Asics. So that kind of put the battery in my back that I could design I already knew I could design my own stuff, but like that put the battery in my back that I can really
designing
do it.
A run shoe.
Yeah, that's on the agenda for sure. Yeah. That's on the agenda for sure. So, getting to the brand, it was like a pandemic project. You know what I'm saying? It was like we all was at
That's
the crib.
dope that it made it out of the pandemic, because a lot of brands got stuck in the pandemic. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, because we had all this free time, and it was like, all right, what are you channeling? Like, we kind of like wait our whole life for this opportunity to like be able to sustain ourselves and not work, and that's what the pandemic was for me. It was like, okay, we at home, but I'm not worrying about money. I'm not worrying about all of that. It's like, all right, what am I pouring into? So I was running a lot, but I also was like, all right, what does this look like? So I based it on my story. So for me, I was dealing with like depression and like just a lot of mental like barriers before I started running, because I didn't have like an identity. I didn't have an outlet. And I just didn't like,
like that's my bad, bro. Go ahead.
No.
Because it's like during the pandemic, I felt like I was going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, man, I didn't finally slow down. Like, bro, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, because growing up, you know, you wanted to be a rapper. You know, you wanted to be in the league. Like, all right, now what are you outside of those things? So going into, like you were saying, like just the whole depression and just mental barriers and really just trying to find out who I was as a person. And like I ended up, like I tried running. I didn't stay consistent, but I was running a mile a day for like 3 weeks straight. And I could really see the effects of it. But to your point, bro, like the pandemic for me as well was like really a time of like self-discovery. Like really like trying to see like, Sean, like who are you? My bad for cutting you off.
No, but I appreciate that, because it's a feeling that we all felt, but a lot of times as black men, we aren't able to express that. A lot of times as black men, we are so like defined by what we do for a living. You know what I'm saying? You are this because this is where you work.
Man, like, and I was just saying this on social media the other day, and I was just speaking from experience of being a public success but a private failure. And I know, like, it's been, even during that time, like, everything looked so well, but, like, just my own personal was just failing. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's real talk. So that ties into the brand, right? So, I felt like running was my way of exercising these demons. You know what I'm saying? So it was like all of this negative energy I had in my mind, all of this built up aggression and just like disdain for like my situation. It was like, okay, well, how are you going to change that? What choices are you going to make to improve your situation? Because at the end of the day, we really don't have ain't nobody coming to save us. You know what I'm saying? Where we from, ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody, like, that's not what it is. You got to save yourself. You have to be an active participant in your own rescue. Yeah. So I had to in my mid-20s, I had to figure out, like, either I'm going to go down this path that I see everybody else, well, not everybody else, but I've seen so many people go down, or I'm going to try to figure something out different. And running was the catalyst in a lot of that. So yeah, I started the brand, and I really just wanted something to call my own.
Sweet.
After working for Asics, I really enjoyed doing that. But when you're working for a company that big, you have to send out your creative project to get like approved and just like dressed down by everybody in the company, right? So, but luckily, my designs were pretty decent. They weren't wasn't getting tore down that bad. They was getting pushed through pretty well. But I still wanted something that I could say was my own, and I put the final approval on. And the last, you know what I'm saying, the last okay was me. So as a creative, I'm like, all right, this will afford me full creative freedom. So that's what the brand is to me. It's an opportunity. And I think of it more of like an art project than like a clothing brand or anything like that, because really I want to use it as a platform to show my creative skills and like flex my creative muscles, but also show people the people that's around me that I think are dope, that I think do really cool stuff. I want to use my platform to shine a light on them too. So
Nice,
it's like
nice.
I think you take dope photos. I think you know what I'm saying? I think you make good music. I think you're a great artist. I want to be able to cultivate an audience to bring those artists to that audience because I feel like I've always been a natural curator as well. So I got an eye for what's dope.
I,
So
man, like I be feeling the same way. A lot of stuff that I see, I be wanting to put my input on, but I don't, cause I be like if they could just tweak it this way. But I'm with you, bro. Like I feel like I'm a curator as well. I don't mean to cut you off, but man, like I feel like this is one a well needed conversation. Um, and I just think it's going real well. Like continue on,
yeah,
brother. The
nah,
floor is yours.
I appreciate it. But look, this is a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We two young men
Yeah, yeah.
that we share a very similar story. You know what I'm saying? We have a shared background, our community. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? We went to the same high school. We around the same age. Well, we literally the same age. Like, so these conversations are needed because
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of times we get caught up in like, don't nobody want to hear what I'm talking about or don't nobody care about what I'm going through. But it's like, we don't understand that our story can do so much for other people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Our
And
story can help that person get to the next level in their life, man.
yeah, for sure. And you have like a large platform in the city just based on like your social media presence. Like people care about what you talk about. So like to shine a light on the positive things that you're doing, like everything. Like I've watched you. Like you're a community builder for real. Like you a pillar in the community, and you never felt like you had to go away from the community to do that. So I've always commended you for that.
I appreciate that. And that's one of the things, like, I always say it's a gift and a curse because the gift is, you get to see your work, in real time. Sometimes I call it a curse is because just what comes with the work that you do in your community. But I thank you for that, bro. For sure, for sure. Um, let's see. Describe what the tagline "a product of our choices" means to you and the brand.
Yeah. So I kind of touched on it earlier. It's like that whole idea of like ain't nobody coming to save you. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you have to lay in bed with the decisions you make in life.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Especially like in, I hate when people say, oh, this era, whatever, whatever. But like in this specific time of our existence, it's very easy to put up this front for the internet. It's very easy to like put the highlight reel up while behind the scenes you're really going through other stuff. So it's like you are a product of those choices you make. No matter how much you putting it out there that life is good and you doing all of this good stuff, you still have to answer for what you do at the end of the day.
You have to answer for what you do at the end of the day, and then it is okay to be struggling. It is okay to go through, and you may not necessarily have to post that on social media, but I feel like most people, they enjoy, seeing other people's journeys. Because I'm going to use myself as an example. I used to tell people oh yeah, go ahead and start a business, start a clothing line, do this, that, and the third, without really telling them, like, you're going to have to do a lot to get your business off the ground. And I feel like social media influencers, not all but some, have created this, what I'm going to call it, a mirage of telling people to go out and do this, that, and the third without telling them the struggles that they went through behind the scenes. And now we got like a generation of people who out here and they like, dang, Gary V told me to invest in NFT.
Yeah. They see the wins, but they don't see the losses as much. They don't see they don't get the full story. They just get the highlight reel.
And that's what I've like been trying, man, more and more to share. Like, people may see the store, but I want them to see the journey, like the day to day, like the stuff. Just because I got a store, man, do not mean I'm not struggling. Like, I got bills to pay. I got kids to feed. I got all these different things. You got anything else you want to add?
And that's a story that we all go through. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? We
yeah.
all have, and especially where we from. Like, let's be real. Not everybody where we from. Everybody ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't well off. A lot of us come from very disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yeah.
We grew up lacking the resources that we need to be successful for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
So it's like to even make it out of that, like for real, we know a lot of people that didn't even. They've been gone for a long time. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And whether that's like
Yeah.
in caught up in like the system or like, man, we had friends in high school that was
Yeah.
dying, bro.
Yeah.
Like like
Yes.
that was taken away from
Yes.
this earth before they had an
Early.
opportunity to even like establish themselves.
Yes.
So like I feel like it's our responsibility as men in the community to show like you don't have to follow the blueprint that's
That's it.
set out for
That's
you.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
it.
you can be different. You can be the one to do things
And
differently.
it's okay. It's okay to be different. There's nothing wrong with being different. And like I just think people need to become more comfortable with themselves, cuz I just know I was that kid that was on the fence. You know, like I grew up in Spring Lake. Like I didn't know whether I wanted to be a thug or not, you know? So like man, it just took me going down this path of self-discovery and just like learning like man, I ain't got to be that. I can be something else. And I think like you just said, bro, like our community, the generation up under us. That's why I'm always explaining that to my son. I'll be like, bro, like I know you see what these artists portray. I know what you see what these athletes portray, but ultimately it's all just entertainment. They not really living like that right now. So yeah.
And I think that kind of like circle back to like a product of our choices, right?
Yeah.
Because either you gonna make the choice, or the choice gonna be made for you.
Somebody
So,
once told me, you can pick your choices, but you can't pick your consequences. And like, I heard that and I was like, I'm running with that.
that's real. That's a bar.
Yeah, for sure. So man, like we didn't dug into so much. I was going to ask, like I know that you run, you know, like does the culture of running translate into your brand? I feel like you've answered that.
Yeah, I would definitely. In short, yes, absolutely. Running is like a metaphor for life. That's what a lot of us runners tell people. Like you literally get out exactly what you put in. So you ain't going out there and running a marathon tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You got to put that work in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't running that marathon in a year if you didn't do the work leading up to it. So that's one thing. Like running culture is like it's super intense. It's like it takes some crazy to do, and I feel like that's kind of what my brand reflects too. Like not only is it like rooted in like ideas, but it's also rooted in a little crazy because like we all got a little crazy in us. But do you tap into that crazy in a positive way, or do you tap into that in a not so positive way?
Have you ever experienced, I don't know if you know the term, it's called runner's high?
Yeah.
I've experienced that, and I didn't know, like, I knew it was going on, but I was like, this is the greatest feeling in the world. Like, you know how Forrest Gump was like, and I was running? Yeah. Like, bro, like,
real talk.
I couldn't stop running. Like, and like, I was just running, like, and I'm like, bro, like, is this ever gonna stop?
Yeah.
And I was just like, when you tap in to something like that, like, it's like, one, I felt like it was like an outer body experience. Two, it really showed me like that I'm more than capable of doing the things that I think that I can't do. I just have to really just do it. And man, so yeah, runner's high was crazy.
Call that flow state for real.
Flow state.
So whenever like, and it's not just running, cause like if you ever like
in the zone.
Yeah. When you at work, you doing something and you just like you doing it mindlessly, like you just going crazy. Mm-hmm. Or if like you creative and you just
those
sit at
the best
computer,
moments of creativity. Bro.
Yeah. When you on that streak and you just like, dog, I can't do anything wrong right now. Like everything I do is right. That's that flow state, and that's what we got to tap into. That's like that spiritual next level. Where
I don't like creating anything if I'm not like flirting with that energy. Like I gotta like feel it. Like if I feel it and I can like get my ideas out, once the volume start being turned down, I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop, because now I'm forcing it and it's probably not gonna be my best work. So So you having a pop up shop this Saturday? What time?
12 p.m.
12 p.m.
12 noon.
What can people expect this Saturday?
They can expect an experience. But it's my first one, so I'm still figuring it out too. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I got everything figured out, because we just said, you know what I'm saying? Like, people get on the internet and act like, So yeah, no, I'm gonna have pieces I designed. I'm gonna have art from, you know what I'm saying, artists that I think is cool. I'll have my brother playing music, which is super dope, because he good at that. So yeah, and I'm gonna have people here that has never seen the city before. So what better way to show them, you know what I'm saying, what Pontiac can do, what Pontiac is capable of, and I'm just hoping to like bring people together in a positive manner, and just like really just show like creativity is like more than just rapping, or creativity is more than just whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever they expect from us, like we can do it different, you know what I'm saying? So
same thing with my son. Like, he's an artist. Like, he can draw. And like, I feel like that lane of creativity in our culture and our community needs to be expressed more. Like, we have a lot of talented artists that may know that they're talented, but they're afraid to really dig into that just because of the culture that we grow up in. And I was one of them kids. Like, I used to draw Dragon Ball Z day and night, but as I got older, you know, I'm like, you know what, this ain't the cool thing to do. Same thing with dancing. I tell everybody this all the time. I was one of them dancing niggas back in the day. But as I got older, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna fly. Like, this I can't be in the hood, you know, with the robot and all that. So, but man, it's just.
And you think you can't do that, but you can.
You can.
These are imaginary boundaries that are placed on us, just based on where we from. But no, you definitely can. You can do whatever you want. You can go crazy. And I feel like the younger generation,
they like that's all he do.
They
like,
getting into it. They way more free than we were.
And I think that's that childlike mindset, man, that we have to tap into. Like, you will see a kid, like, they looking crazy, but they just so free in what they doing. Especially like my daughter, she's 6. Like, once she start dancing, bro, like, she in it. And like, I just be like, man, like, I wish that I could get back to that state, or them drawing pictures. Like, to them, they like, this is a Picasso. Like, this is the hardest picture. I'm not calling your work trash, bro. I'm not. I'm just saying, you can't. The confidence of children is crazy.
Ain't nobody shot him down yet. And as long as the people around you ain't the ones that shoot you down, then shoot for the stars.
I'm kind of like on like because he getting a little older. My oldest daughter is 12. I won't necessarily be like trash. I'd be like, you know, you might need to tweak this. But when we hooping, when we play ball, I'm like, bro, you trash.
Yeah. You gotta know that. You gotta know that until you beat Pops, you gonna be trash.
Until you beat me, you gonna always be
He
garbo.
not gonna let you in.
You have, but it what? All right, we ain't gonna do that. Twice.
We talking spicy.
He is. Now we can go home. You got a rim on your room door and a rim outside. No, you don't want that smoke.
About that action.
You don't want that smoke. So the pop-up shop is this Saturday at 12. 12 to what?
We're gonna be here till 4.
Till 4. You're gonna have music, art, and it's gonna be a dope experience.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find you on social media?
So people can find me on social media, Aaron X Worldwide on Instagram. You can find my brand Exercising Demons on Instagram, Exercising X Demons, EXERCISING DEMONS on Instagram. Also, if you want to shop the collections, shop the pieces that I have available, you can go to exercisingxdemons.com, and you can find everything there. But what they can't find is a piece that we dropping specifically for the pop-up
on Saturday.
Very limited. That will be available here on Saturday. And also, if you bring a pair of shoes like new or new shoes for my guy Sean's Yaktown Don't Back Down Shoe Drive, you will get 20% off your order. So pull up and come spin and come support the community because that's what we doing. We pouring back into our community. This ain't just about us.
That's it. That's it. The shoe drive is tomorrow as well, from 5 to 7. I'll be here in store 5 to 7 p.m. I'm also taking walk-ins tomorrow as well. If you guys want to come down, do you have anything else that you want to say to the people?
Nah, man, I think we covered it. I do. Yaktown don't back down. Come on now. You already know. Let's go.
Yes, man. Until next time, this has been another episode of the Yaktown Don't Back Down podcast. Aaron, man, I thank you for being here.
Big love.
Make
brother.
sure y'all be here this Saturday, 18 East Lawrence, Pontiac, Michigan, 48342 at 12 p.m. Until next time, we out of here. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.